Hello again. Welcome to part 2 of line. In part 2, we're going to take a look at contour line. What is contour line? Contour line can best be described as a line that describes the edge of an object. So if you could take a moment, jot that down in your notes, preferably in your sketchbook. Contour line. It's a line that describes the edges of an object or form. What does that mean? So here we have a paper bag. And here the line is describing the edges of the object. We don't see any value or shading. We just see simple line. We see the folds, the bends that might be found in a brown paper bag. So that is our definition and our visual description of what you would be looking at when you're talking about contour line. So take a moment, jot this down, and you can even make a quick little sketch of a paper bag just so you know visually what contour line is referring to. Next, when we're thinking about contour line, we need to think of it in terms of this. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, meaning I want you to work slow and steady, really studying your object or form to be sure that you're getting all those lines and edges that affect this object or form. So the idea, I don't give prizes out for the person to finish first. What I'm looking for is a very slow and steady, accurate rendering in contour line of our object. Another thing is draw what you see. Draw what your eye sees. So, not what you think you know, because your brain can play tricks on you. You might see, for instance, an apple. Okay? That apple, you're familiar with an apple. Your brain is going to tell you what an apple is, and then you just might go about drawing it. For our purposes, we want to draw the actual apple, or object in our case, that we see. All right, and a good thing to think about when we're talking about drawing what you see, just to be sure that you're really looking, you want to think about a 75-25 ratio. All right, no, it's not a math class, but we still have a little bit of an idea of ratio in here. So what that means is this: when we're drawing, we want to be referring continuously to the object that we're drawing, and then glancing back down to our paper to make sure our pen and pencil's in the right place, and that we're drawing in the right area, and definitely getting the edges and all the little things that would affect our form. So again, really focusing on what our eye sees, not what we think we know, and translating that down to the paper. So again, this is kind of how we go about looking at contour line. So, to review, we have contour line. It's a line that describes the edge of an object. Example, paper bag. We want to be slow and steady. All right, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We want to draw what our eye sees, not what we think we know. And we want to employ our 75-25 ratio, meaning that we're really studying the object as we're drawing it on our paper. Again, this takes time. It doesn't happen all at once, but we got to start somewhere. So being prepared with these little things is going to be helpful. Next, we're going to talk about some of the little, nuances or characteristics of what can make a good contour line drawing. So let's take a peek over here. We're going to talk about angles. So we're going to need to understand what that means for our contour line purposes. So contour line, we're going to focus on angles. So I'm going to switch over to a pencil, and you guys can do this as well. And we're going to talk about a couple things to do with contour line. So the area that we're going to focus on for this demo is the area where the two lines meet, right here. So, why are we focusing there? We want to focus there because we want our lines to go from thin to thick, or better yet, we want to talk in terms of pressure, pencil pressure. And that pencil pressure happens when we push down harder or softer on our pencil. So what we're thinking here is we less pressure out here. As we come to the area that the lines are going to meet, we're going to push down harder. And as the line goes away from that meeting area, it gets lighter as well. So lighter pressure, more intense pressure. Lighter pressure, more intense pressure. We can also put little plus symbols and negative symbols there just as a reminder, because this is just a demo. And again, I'll demo it one more time. Lighter pressure, more intense to lighter pressure. So I'd like you to try to do a couple of these about 5 to 7 times, okay? And just repeat this process. Pushing down lightly and then exerting more pressure. Exerting pressure, and as you go away from the angle, less pressure. So that's angles. Next, we have intersections. So intersections, kind of the same principle. Where our lines meet, we're going to gradually get more intense pressure. Okay, so we'll make our little arrows here just so we can have a good reference when we're going back on our own. And how that would look would be like this. Less pressure, more intense, and then as we go away, less. Less pressure as we get closer to the intersection, more pressure, and then pull away. Again, less pressure, gradually more, less pressure as we go away. Gradual, more pressure, less pressure. Now, if you're breaking the tip of your pencil, you're obviously pushing too hard. You don't have to hulk it. So that's also understanding your strength and your pressure. So you find out what works for you. And again, try to do a couple of these, 5 to 7 of them, until you get the hang of it. If you get it right away, that's great. If not, do a couple more. We're going to move over to perpendiculars. Okay, so perpendiculars look something like this. Again, we're going to have that area where the lines meet. Right here is our key intersection or meeting place. And like before, as it comes there, it's getting more pressure. Same with the bottom line. So let's do a demo of that. So I would take my pencil, less pressure, more pressure, less pressure as I go away. More pressure, less pressure as I drift away from the angle. Less pressure, more pressure, less. More pressure, less pressure as I go away. Okay? So that's a look at perpendiculars. The last one we'll look at here is our curves. Okay? So for a curve, be a little bit different. We're going to increase our pressure as we get towards the center of the curve. So more in this area. Whoops. Sorry about that. So how would that look when we're drawing? So less pressure, gradually more pressure, and then pull out. Less pressure, gradually more, and then pick up. Again, you can do this in many ways. Doesn't matter the curve, right? It can be our wavy look. Again, this is going to give our contour line drawings a little bit of character. Okay, they won't just be a boring line that's all one width and pencil intensity like this. That kind of makes drawing stagnant. We want some energy into it. So that's just how we infuse energy into our contour line drawings. So we have angles, we have intersections, we have perpendiculars, and we have curves. In the next part, I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So before you jump to part 3, you want to make sure that you get your cloth. I encouraged everybody in today's lesson to go out and get themselves either like a white t-shirt, a dish towel, whatever have you. But you're going to need your sketchbook or a clean sheet of paper. You're going to need a pencil. And we'll see you back for part 3.